Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of my Alpha family. I welcome you with open arms, open minds, and an unwavering belief in your limitless potential. Today, we stand together in the face of those who believed they could outsmart you, those who thought they could predict your every move, manipulate your destiny, or control your fate. They thought you were nothing more than a piece on their chessboard, an easy mark to outwit, an easy target to break, but they failed to see the truth that was always right in front of them. They never understood who you truly are. They underestimated your power, your resilience, your ability to rise from every fall stronger than before. And now, the time has come for you to make them regret their blind arrogance, because you are about to answer questions they never dared to ask. They looked at you and saw weakness. They saw someone they could exploit, someone they could push around, someone they could outthink and outmaneuver. They believed that their schemes, their tricks, their tactics would break you down, leave you helpless and defeated, a mere shadow of who you could have been. They didn't see the fire within you. They didn't see the raw, untamed force that lies dormant, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And in their blindness, they made a fatal mistake. They forgot one thing. They forgot that you are not a victim. You are not someone who will bend to the whims of others. You are someone who will rise from the ashes and burn brighter than the very flames that tried to consume you. And this, my friends, is where their story ends and yours begins. They thought they had the upper hand. They thought they could pull the strings and control your every move, but they didn't account for the fact that you don't play by their rules. You don't follow their script. You are the author of your own story, and they have no say in how it unfolds. As they plotted and schemed, they believed they had all the answers. They had their plans, their strategies, their manipulations, but they never bothered to ask the right questions. They didn't ask what you were capable of when pushed to your limits. They didn't ask what you would do when cornered, when there was nowhere to turn but forward. They didn't ask how far you would go to protect what's yours, how far you would go to defy the odds and break through every wall they put in your way. And because they didn't ask these questions, they will never understand the answer you're about to give. The answer you're about to give is not just a response to their challenges. It is a declaration that you are not who they thought you were. It is a declaration that you are more powerful, more dangerous, and more relentless than they could ever comprehend. When they thought they had you figured out, when they thought they knew your every weakness, you were already moving in silence. You were already preparing for the moment when the tables would turn and they would finally see what you were truly capable of. You were already gathering the strength, the knowledge, the experience, the fury that would one day ignite your rise. They didn't see it. They didn't notice that every time they knocked you down, you only got stronger. Every time they whispered their lies, you learned how to silence their voices. Every time they pushed you to the edge, you found the courage to take another step forward. And with each step, you grew closer to the moment when you would show them that they never had control over you. They thought they could outsmart you because they thought they understood your limitations. They didn't know that limitations are nothing but illusions, things people create to keep you confined within the boundaries of their expectations. And you have shattered every boundary they tried to impose upon you. The truth is that they never understood the depth of your resilience. They never understood that you were not defined by your circumstances, by your past failures, or by their attempts to break you. They never understood that your strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from embracing them, not from running from pain, but from facing it head on and using it to fuel your growth. They thought that by keeping you in the dark, by isolating you, by making you feel small, they could keep you under their thumb. What they didn't know is that darkness doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. It reveals the fire in your soul, the sharpness of your mind, the strength of your will, and the depth of your hunger for something greater than what they could ever offer you. You are not afraid of the dark because you know that it is in the darkness that the stars shine brightest. And now, as the light begins to break through, they will see that you are the one who controls the course of this journey, not them. Every moment they believed they were winning was a moment you were learning, growing, evolving. Every time they tried to break you, you found new ways to become unbreakable. They thought they could push you into a corner and make you surrender, but what they didn't realize is that you thrive in the face of adversity. You don't run from challenges, you chase them. You don't bow down to pressure, you crush it beneath your feet. And now, as you stand at the precipice of your transformation, you are ready to show the world that there is nothing and no one that can stop you. There is no obstacle that can block your path, no enemy that can defeat you. You have already defeated the greatest enemy of all, the one that lives inside you, the one that tried to make you doubt yourself, tried to convince you that you weren't good enough, tried to make you believe that you were destined for failure. That voice is silent now, and in its place is the roar of a lion. They thought they could break you. They thought they could outwit you. They thought they could control you. But you are not a puppet. You are not a slave to anyone's will. You are a force of nature, and forces of nature cannot be contained. They cannot be predicted. They cannot be controlled. They are unstoppable. And now, as you prepare to unleash everything you've been holding inside, you will show them the true meaning of power. You will show them that when you are pushed to your limits, that is when you become the most dangerous. When they thought they had you down, you were already rising. When they thought they had you figured out, you were already evolving into something they could never anticipate. And now, you will answer the questions they never asked, the questions that reveal the depths of your strength, the fierceness of your spirit, and the unyielding determination that has been building inside you all along. They thought they knew you, but they didn't. They thought they could outsmart you, but they couldn't. And now, as the storm within you begins to rage, they will see what happens when you are no longer afraid to fight back, when you are no longer afraid to step into your true power. You are not who they thought you were. You are not a victim, not a pawn, not a bystander. You are a conqueror. You are a warrior. And it's time for you to show the world the true meaning of strength. It's time for you to show them that they can never outsmart you again. It's time for you to rise up and claim your destiny. The questions they never asked, you're about to answer them. And in doing so, you will show them that they never had control over you. They never will. And now, they'll never forget the moment you took your power back. The moment you took your power back was not just a fleeting instance of strength. No, it was a seismic shift that reverberated throughout the very core of your being. The world they tried to mold for you crumbled, piece by piece, as you stood tall and unwavering, ready to break free from the chains they believed would keep you forever shackled. What they failed to realize, what they never accounted for, was the unrelenting spirit within you, the raw force that could not be suppressed. They thought they had you figured out, that they knew every inch of your character, your habits, your weaknesses, the things that could bring you to your knees. They believed they could control the narrative of your life, but the truth is, they were never in control. You were always the one who held the pen, the one who shaped the chapters, the one who decided the outcome. They may have thought that their manipulation, their tactics, their well-laid plans would bend you to their will, but you were never going to play by their rules. The world tried to cage you, to trap you in a box labeled failure or weakness or inferiority. They put labels on you, told you who you were and who you would never be. They mocked your dreams, belittled your ambitions, and attempted to silence your voice. But what they didn't realize was that labels are nothing but lies designed to keep you confined, to make you small, to strip away your power. You never accepted those lies. You refused to let them define you. So, when the moment came, and it always comes, the moment when you realize that you've been more than what they saw, more than what they told you you could be, you stepped into the fullness of your power. You stopped living in the shadows of their expectations and began to create a future that was uniquely your own. They thought you would crumble. They thought you would fade away. But instead, you ignited a fire that cannot be extinguished. You became a force of nature that could not be manipulated, controlled, or contained. They didn't ask the right questions, and now they're left with nothing but their empty assumptions. They never asked how many times you've fallen, only to rise again, stronger, wiser, more determined. They didn't ask how much strength you have in reserve when it feels like there's nothing left. They never thought to ask about your resilience, your tenacity, your refusal to give up, no matter how hard the battle may be. Because if they had, they would have known better. They would have known that no matter how many times they tried to knock you down, you would always get back up. They would have known that the harder they pushed, the more they tested you, the stronger you would become. But they never asked. They thought they had you cornered, trapped in a corner with nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They thought they could break you with their schemes and their lies, that they could make you question your worth, question your strength, question your ability to succeed. They were wrong. They failed to realize that the darkest moments of your life were merely stepping stones leading you to this moment, the moment when you would finally break free from their grip. The harder they tried to push you down, the higher you soared. They didn't understand the depths of your silence, the power in your restraint. While they plotted, while they schemed, you were quietly observing, learning, preparing. You weren't passive, you weren't idle. You were gathering your strength, quietly becoming the version of yourself that they could never foresee. They thought you were weak, vulnerable, easy to control. But when you stood up, when you finally said enough, they couldn't comprehend what was happening. It was too late for them to stop you. They had no idea the kind of power they were up against. And now, here you stand, unshakable, unbreakable, an embodiment of everything they thought they could destroy. You are not the person they believed you were. You are not their puppet, their victim, or their pawn. You are a lion who has been tested, who has survived, and who now roams free. The chains they thought would bind you have disintegrated into dust, and now they will see what happens when you take back what was always yours. The questions they never asked will haunt them for the rest of their lives. They will never know the depth of your resolve, the intensity of your ambition, or the fire that burns in your soul. They will never understand the cost of underestimating you, of thinking you were weak, of thinking you would bow down. They didn't know what you were truly capable of, but they're about to learn. And in that moment, when they realize the gravity of their mistake, it will be too late. They will see the warrior that you've become, the force that now stands before them, unyielding, unstoppable, and destined for greatness. They will see that you are not someone to be manipulated or outsmarted, but a force of nature that cannot be contained. You are the storm they tried to avoid, the fire they tried to extinguish, the tide that they could never turn back. They believed they had control, but the reality is, you always held the power. You always knew that the key to your freedom, to your strength, to your victory, was inside you all along. You were the one who had to find it, the one who had to awaken it. They didn't know the fight that was brewing beneath the surface, the roar of determination that was building inside you. They didn't realize that you were never going to play their game, never going to follow their rules, never going to bend to their expectations. You were always meant for more than what they could offer. You were always meant to be greater than what they saw. And now, as you take your place at the top of your own mountain, they will see that everything they tried to take from you only made you stronger. Every insult, every betrayal, every moment they tried to break you has only fueled the fire inside you. Now, you are unstoppable. Now, you are more than they ever imagined, more than they could ever understand. You are the answer to the questions they never asked, and the answer is clear. You are a force that cannot be controlled. You are a warrior who will never back down. You are the one who will rise, no matter how many times you are knocked down. You are the one who will conquer, who will overcome, who will triumph. You are the one who will conquer, who will overcome, who will triumph. You are the one who will break free from the chains they thought could bind you and take control of your own destiny. And when they look back, when they see the legacy you've built, when they see the empire you've created from the ashes of their attempts to destroy you, they will know the truth. They will know that they were never in control. They will know that you were always the one pulling the strings, always the one determining the outcome. And they will understand, too late, that they never had a chance. Now is your time. This is your moment. Stand tall, stand proud, and let the world know that no one will ever outsmart you again. You are the answer. You are the force that will change everything. You are the one who will write the next chapter of your story, and no one, not a single person, will ever take that away from you again. They never saw the truth in your eyes, the relentless spirit that refused to yield, the untapped well of potential that was always within you. They saw your quietness as weakness. They saw your silence as submission. They thought you were simply going to sit back and let the world pass you by, let them pull all the strings and carve out a path that was never meant for you. But they made a crucial mistake. They didn't realize that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means preparation. It means focus. It means that when the storm hits, you'll be the one standing strong, ready to face it head on, unshaken and undeterred. They thought their manipulation, their mind games, and their condescending words would leave you broken, leave you questioning your worth. But what they failed to understand was that those very things would only harden your resolve. With each insult, with each underestimation, you grew more determined. With every attempt to break you, you only became more aware of the strength within you, of the power you were nurturing for the moment when you would rise and show them all just who you really are. The world they envisioned for you was one of limitations. It was one where you were confined, boxed in by their expectations, where your success was dependent on their validation and your happiness hinged on their approval. But you broke free from that. You shattered the illusions they built around you and set your own course. No longer would you be held back by the confines of their narrow thinking. No longer would you live a life dictated by their assumptions, their doubts, their projections of what they thought you could be. Because you are more than they could ever imagine. You are more than the limitations they tried to impose on you. You are more than the failures they expected to define you. And now, they will witness the magnitude of your power, the greatness that comes from knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone dictate your path. Now that you've taken back your power, the world will see that you were never a pawn in their game. You were always meant to be the one who decides the rules. You've taken their doubts, their criticisms, their dismissals, and you've transformed them into the fuel that ignites your fire. Where they saw weakness, you saw opportunity. Where they saw vulnerability, you saw strength. They thought they could destroy you with their words, their judgments, their lies. What they didn't realize was that they were only sharpening your resolve, fortifying your spirit, and teaching you how to rise stronger each time you fell. Because you, my friend, are the embodiment of resilience. You are the person who can stand tall after being knocked down 1,000 times. You are the one who gets back up, each time with even more fire in your heart and more determination in your soul. They never asked the right questions because they never truly understood the depth of your power. They never took the time to ask how much you had already endured, how many battles you had already fought and won in silence. They didn't realize that every time they knocked you down, you were only gathering strength, learning, and evolving. They never asked how many times you had to look at yourself in the mirror and decide that you would keep going, even when it seemed impossible. They didn't ask how many nights you stayed awake, plotting your comeback, even when everyone else had written you off. They didn't ask about the fire that burned inside you, the unwavering belief that no matter how dark it got, you would never be consumed. And that is where they failed. They didn't see the warrior within you. They looked at the surface, at what was visible, and assumed that was all there was to you. They looked at the struggles you faced, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, and they thought that was all that defined you. But those struggles, they were never meant to break you. They were meant to make you unbreakable. They were the forge in which your character was shaped, the challenges that would ultimately give you the strength to overcome anything that stood in your way. You've already overcome more than they could imagine, more than they could ever fathom. You've fought battles they will never know about, battles you fought alone, with nothing but your determination and your will to keep pushing forward. And now, as you stand before them, as you rise up to claim your victory, they will see that you were never weak. They will see that every struggle only made you stronger. Every setback only propelled you forward. And they will understand that they were never the ones in control. They never held the power. You were always the one writing the script. They thought they could outsmart you, but the truth is, they never understood you. They never saw the quiet storm brewing inside you, the one that would eventually break free and sweep them all away. They never understood the strategic mind that was carefully plotting, planning, and waiting for the right moment. They underestimated your patience, your ability to endure, and they didn't realize that the longer they pushed you, the more you were gathering your strength. Now, they will see that their attempts to control you only serve to make you more dangerous. And when they look into your eyes, when they see the fire that burns within you, they will know the truth. They were never in control. They never had the power. You were always the one who held the reins of your life, and now they will finally realize the cost of underestimating you. The questions they never asked will echo in their minds. Long after the dust has settled, they will wonder why they never took the time to understand you. They will wonder why they didn't recognize the depth of your strength, the quiet resolve that had been building inside you all along. But by then, it will be too late. By then, the game will have changed. The tables will have turned, and they will find themselves looking up at you, powerless and defeated, as you stand tall and claim what is rightfully yours. You have already proven that you are more than they could ever comprehend. You have already shown that their tactics, their manipulation, their attempts to control you were futile. You've already shown that no matter how many times they tried to break you, you only emerged stronger, more focused, and more determined. And now, as you rise from the ashes of their schemes, you will show them the true meaning of power. Power is not about control. It is not about manipulation or dominance. True power comes from within. It comes from knowing who you are, from understanding your worth, and from refusing to let anyone or anything diminish your light. True power comes from the ability to rise, time and time again, no matter how many times you were knocked down. And now you will rise. Now you will answer the questions they never asked. You will show them the depths of your strength, the resilience of your spirit, and the fierceness of your will. You will show them that no matter what they throw at you, you will always find a way to rise above. You will show them that you are not their victim. You are not their pawn. You are the one who holds the power, the one who decides the course of your own destiny. And in the end, when they see what you've become, when they realize the force they underestimated, they will be forced to acknowledge one undeniable truth. They never had a chance against you. You were always destined for greatness, and now you will claim it. The world will look at you differently now. They will see the warrior you've become, the champion who has fought and won, not because life has been easy, but because you refuse to back down. You refuse to be outsmarted. You refuse to be broken. You chose to rise, and in doing so, you've proven that nothing, not their manipulation, not their schemes, not their lies, can ever stop you. The questions they never asked, you've already answered them, and the answer is clear. You are a force of nature, unstoppable, unshakable, and destined to leave a legacy that will never be forgotten. In the end, they thought they could outsmart you. They believed they could control your destiny, break your spirit, and write your story for you. But what they failed to realize is that you were never meant to be manipulated, never meant to be confined. The strength, the fire, and the power that lie within you were always yours to command. They underestimated you, and in doing so, they sealed their own fate. Now, as you stand tall, claiming the victory they thought was impossible, you show them that you are always the one in control. The questions they never asked have already been answered. You are the answer. You are unstoppable. And now, the world will see you for who you truly are. Unbreakable, unyielding, and destined for greatness. The game is yours to win, and no one will ever outsmart you again.